Welcome to HyperScale Video Workshop. My name is Brett Green. Well, it was announced quite a while ago and has been long anticipated ever since, but it's finally here. The Special Hobby 1/32 scale Westland Whirlwind. The Westland Whirlwind was only built in fairly small numbers due to the development problems with the Rolls-Royce Peregrine engines. But it was a contemporary of the Spitfire and the Hurricane, and although it was only used in very small numbers, the pilots loved the aircraft and it was very successful as a fighter and fighter bomber. But the bases were pretty well covered with more reliable mass-produced aircraft, and it only saw a reasonably small amount of service over a short time. We've had a few Whirlwind models in 1/48 scale until now. There's the excellent Cooper Details vac form kit. I've still got one in my stash. Classic Airframes then cooperated with Roy to produce their own limited run plastic Whirlwind kit, which I built myself. And I believe that we have, is it a Hobby Boss kit as well, which hasn't done quite as well in the accuracy department as the others. But now we have, for the very first time, a 1/32 scale Whirlwind and from Special Hobby. So this arrived on my doorstep a few minutes ago, and this is going to be one of my unboxing videos where I open the box for the very first time and get to share my very first impressions of the kit with all of you out there in HyperScale land. So let's see what we have. First of all, I should note that it's a top opening box, very sturdy, so the contents are well protected. We'll pop that there. The instructions are on the top. I might come back to those in a few minutes. And we have a couple of separate bags. There's a resealable bag with the wing sprues and fuselage sprues. So let's have a look in here and have a look at the main fuselage sprue. Oh, very nice. Okay, so there's the main fuselage sprue. I'm not sure, there's very fine. Let's see if I can get that to focus. Is that focusing? Very fine recessed rivets there, and very fine recessed panel lines as well. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Very nice. So in addition to the surface details on the outside, we have some structural detail on the insides as well. So they will be the base for the cockpit sidewalls, I would imagine. The fin is moulded in place. Rudder looks like it's going to be separate. The next sprue in this bag are the wings, and once again it's a lovely combination of raised and recessed surface detail and very subtle rivets that are recessed into the surfaces as well. So that's lovely. We also have, once again, structural detail on the inside of the parts, so that's good. We have the characteristic wing radiators that are moulded as part of the wing there. So I think they were evaporative cooling. The surface of the radiator would actually dissipate the heat from the cooling system, if I recall correctly. I'm sure that someone will tell me if I haven't. The next sprue are the engine nacelles. They look pretty conventional. So we have left and right half for the left and right nacelles, and the landing gear covers as well. And once again, more structural detail on the inside. There we go. Okay, so very nice there too. The second bag of grey sprues Once again, yes, a resealable bag. And let's see what we have here. We have control surfaces. So we have separate elevators, separate rudder. Is it separate ailerons? It looks like it's no. The ailerons are actually moulded in place, and once again, it features that very nice, fine, consistent surface detail that we've seen on the larger parts. Here we have some of the smaller parts. Got the gun nose and some of the detail parts here. Looks like forward undercarriage doors and various wing stations. Looks like two identical sprues here, and we have, oh nice, good, I was wondering about that. We have bombs, so a couple of, looks like 250 pound and 125 pound bombs, British bombs. So we can put it into a fighter bomber configuration. Propeller blades, undercarriage legs, spinners, pretty heavily flattened tyres there. They look interesting. And some detail parts here too. So excellent moulding, and we've got two of those sprues. This one's the same. Next up, we have more detail parts. There's let's see if we can snap some focus on that. Some very nice options for the instrument panel. We also have the structure. I think that's interior wing structure. I think you'll see that through the main wheel well, those sort of girder looking things. We have various bulkheads, the rear undercarriage, once again flattened rear tail wheel. Rear tail wheel's tautology, isn't it really? And the final grey sprue contains more detailed parts. So we have some detail parts for the cockpit, some for the tail wheel, and some other bits and pieces that I can't quite identify just from the sprues at this stage, but I'm sure that we'll figure it out once we've had a look at the instructions. Next up, we have a single sprue in a single bag, and it's the clear sprue. In fact, it's a single sprue in two bags. We'll just free it from there. So we have a separate windscreen and canopy. So the sliding section is separate. We have some very nice clear landing lights, navigation lights, wingtip night lights, and so forth. So they're all nice. I'll just take a second to put that back in there so we don't lose or scratch some of those delicate parts. Now, what else do we have here? So it looks like there are no photo etch parts, but we do still have the decal sheet, which is in a bag. Right, so there's an answer to one of my questions. We have markings for, it looks like 3 or 4 aircraft, and what we can also see on the decal sheet are some very nice decal dials. So I think combined with the raised decals on the decal sheet, that'll look very nice indeed. And so now let's take a quick look at the instructions. It's a full gloss 16-page booklet in A4 size, and we have a parts tree so we can identify what the parts are. I always find that really useful to have. There are a few manufacturers who don't do it, and it's really noticeable actually. Disadvantage. We have quite busy construction steps in colour on each of the pages, line drawings and colours called out both in the colours themselves and also looks like paint key. We'll have a look and see what brands are recommended a little later on. And so here we have the camouflage schemes. Camouflage A is dark earth and dark green with a single wing in the black, and interestingly the opposite corresponding tailplane lower surface is in black as well. This was an identification method for gunners, ground gunners, not to actually shoot them out of the sky. So it seemed to work. Second one is similar, but it doesn't have the black identification markings under the wings. The third is what looks like it's probably a mixed grey as an early alternative to ocean grey, and dark green with medium sea grey underneath. Interesting thing about this one is that even with the latest scheme, it's still got the early style A roundels on there as well. And we have a second grey and green option as well. So I'd imagine that the grey and green options, you could use the bombs on there. Lovely. So there we have it. It's long anticipated, and I think it's really lived up to its promise. There are, I guess, a lot of similarities between what we see in this box and Special Hobbies Tempest in 32nd scale that they released 5 years ago. I couldn't believe it when I just looked it up then, and it's been 5 years since that kit was released. But that kit also featured very fine surface textures, a high level of detail, particularly in the cockpit, and the fit was good too, from what I remember when I built that kit. It's funny too because I just finished the Bronco MiG-15 Biz late last week and come back from a couple of days out of town intending to pick a new subject for building. Guess what my new subject for building is? Well, that's about all I have for you today on HyperScale Video Workshop. Bye for now.